framework of a wonderful year that for many portends good fortune and moments of success and profound well-being, a series of events are unfolding that are atypical for many, or strangely aligned with each other, causing us to open our eyes and consciousness to a magnificent energetic movement that is unfolding right before our eyes. As if it were a great beast awakening to a new dawn, so too does the movement seem gigantic and imposing, unfolding on Earth and emanating from its energy, in which each of us inhabiting this space and time is immersed. But what is really happening? And more importantly, why are we part of this grand event that many cultures and religions seem to have been anticipating for so many years? The answers to these questions and some others may be found in the midst of our encounter, provided by the hand of great researchers and thinkers, among whom we find a woman who was a pioneer in her field, the distinguished Dolores Cannon, who gifted us through her works with the important knowledge from which we will explore this change today, its effects on our realm, and the implications for the souls inhabiting the earth. That is why I invite you to open your mind, leave behind prejudices, and dive with me into these waters of knowledge, which may be much deeper than we ever thought possible. Today, we will allow the threads that weave our reality to reveal their origins and each form they take, understanding the reason and the perfect connection of each of them with this event that we are witnessing in the year 2024. And in order to be successful in the midst of this path of knowledge, the first thing we must understand is what is truly happening before us, what involves the earth, and what for many still goes unnoticed. For this, we must take as a premise the ideas of Dolores Cannon about the multidimensional capacity of souls and the universe itself. According to this author, our planet is not the only one that harbours life and a form of civilization, but there are other planets in the universe that have already gone through the same cycles and moments of change as us. And of course, there are also other dimensions in which realms have been established that exist simultaneously with ours and hold great knowledge at their core. These realms also harbour beings and souls that, like the place where they inhabit, are aligned with high vibrational frequencies, which are capable of helping these beings manifest absolutely everything they require or desire. These frequencies also allow them to live more harmoniously, flowing with the energies of the universe and in perfect balance with their being. This arouses deep curiosity in many about what these beings from these new civilizations can offer us, our earthly plane, and the process it undergoes. When discussing the process of the earth, we must be aware that it is not one that originates from this year or from a past close to the present moment, but we must go back to ancient times, when the foundations of humanity were established. It began to allow the entry of energies, ideas, and beliefs that went against the true essence with which human beings were created. Just like these beings who have positioned themselves in spaces elevated above our dimension, humans were calibrated to perfection so they could live in well-being and harmony with the universe, making possible and creating everything they needed for their journey and for the human experience they were embarking on. However, this perfect form and perfect balance were altered by the interests of a small group of men whose minds and hearts were corrupted by negative energies and the craving for power and control that doesn't truly exist. This led this small group of individuals to devise and employ various means of controlling humanity, using low energies such as fear, uncertainty, doubt, and even anger, deeply instilling in humans a fear of senseless and baseless things. An example of this is the fear and belief introduced into the collective consciousness, suggesting that we can supposedly fall into total loss and end up suffering great needs if we don't focus on material things and disregard the spirit and soul's guidance. According to the teachings of Dolores Cannon, this is not possible, as humans were created with a unique ability to create everything we need and desire from our core. Cannon explains that by focusing our energies only on what is desired and calibrating our vibration to tune in with the universe, all of that will be manifested in our reality. It is then when the relationship between consciousness and the reality we live in becomes evident, understanding why the way the same thing manifests in each being can be different, and what leads us to think about the relationship of our collective consciousness in relation to the way the planet Earth has been conceived. Just as each of us possesses an individual consciousness, we are also an integral part of the collective consciousness that governs the world and everything that manifests in it, positioning us as the sole responsible for everything we see in our plane, whether we like it or not. This approach also opens the door to thinking about the ways in which the actions of a limited group of men ended up affecting our planet and the history of humanity, as from this interference we could have been deprived of great opportunities for life and harmonious growth. This may also be the reason why humanity finds itself in this third dimension we inhabit, because our planet has not yet moved to a different place. From this to a plane where we can live in a better way and with a higher quality of life. It is important to emphasize that the Earth and humanity are inhabiting the third dimension. And although this is a space that presents the opportunity for profound knowledge, it is also a limited space in terms of development, where it becomes complex to manifest things if the individual does not commit faithfully to their internal work. However, even that represents a great advantage, because in the midst of this dimension, we can strengthen our work and help us successfully pass through our process of evolution and personal and spiritual growth. We must not forget that once we have successfully completed that process, we will be able to access those elevated realms and the knowledge they harbour, and we will do so from that new vibration that our being will have, leading us to think that if our level of consciousness can place us in a higher dimension, the level of consciousness of humanity as a collective also has the capacity to do so. Indeed, Dolores Cannon spoke to us about the Earth's and humanity's ability to undergo a consciousness shift, from which we will be able to position ourselves in a new dimension, one that she and other experts in the field have referred to as the fifth dimension, a space aligned with high frequencies that will only accommodate the Earth once it tunes into those energies and frequencies. But before that takes place, there will be a profound process of transformation that will shake and transform from the intangible to the material. Guided by the transformation of all beings that inhabit the Earth, which means that we will be the same human beings who, from our internal transformation, will facilitate this change, which is the access pass for Earth to that new dimension. The responsibility that the souls inhabiting this earthly plane have upon us is immense, yet it also allows us to shape that new space we are going to inhabit into everything each one desires, understanding that the perfect reality of each individual can coexist in harmony and perfect balance with that of all other souls, as that will be one of the qualities adorning the new place we are heading to live in. And we will know that we are called to work in this transformation from the entry event that marks this whole process, which has been called collective awakening, and which is precisely what we are experiencing at this moment, as the signs tell us that very soon we will have the opportunity for that leap in consciousness. During recent times, we have seen how, one by one, all the souls of the Earth are awakening. However, it is not a coincidence that this event is rapidly unfolding into the lives of many, as if it were a final wave from which the strength for this leap will be taken. This tells us that those who still do not heed this invitation to a new Earth must, from the present moment, open their eyes to the wonderful opportunities that the universe offers us and join this collective force that is carving out a new and encouraging outlook for humanity and the Earth. And surely those who are receiving this information and do not align with this path of light will wonder how they should fulfill their share of participation and responsibility for the fate of humanity. And it is as simple as starting to work on themselves. All the beings inhabiting the Earth are connected to each other. All souls are part of a unity that marks that level of collective consciousness and determines many aspects of what we see on Earth at a material level, not forgetting the energetic implications of our collective consciousness. Each of the souls on Earth is connected to the others through invisible but indestructible energy threads that cause each action and level of consciousness of one to reverberate in the eyes of others in an impressive way, as if these threads were being pulled or a movement were being executed that would touch the other souls. These movements are what make each being responsible not only for their own actions and destiny, but also subtly affect and touch that of others, so we are called to act and walk more consciously and responsibly. In this way, we can see how the sum of all individual consciousnesses and their different levels shape the level of consciousness of humanity. So, there should be no doubt when it comes to our responsibility in this process and our ability to contribute from our own work and our own elevation to a higher level of consciousness. It's as if each of us is pulling with force the other souls, humanity as a whole, and the earth to that new place in which we are positioning ourselves. This makes us see clearly the way in which this awakening of collective consciousness is necessary. Because if the earth is destined for this leap from one dimension to another, likewise, humanity is destined to awaken and guide this journey between dimensions. This is the peculiar movement of energies that many people are experiencing, which manifests in many events of our lives, which, as we mentioned at the beginning, seem to align perfectly with each other amid a higher plan of which we still have no knowledge. One that we are exposing to you today, because it is nothing other than that opportunity for the ascension of the earth and humanity, which will drag the earth along with it, placing it in that fifth dimension that Dolores Cannon spoke of with such enthusiasm, because the things seen in it are completely impactful for those who still do not open their vision to the possibility of a different outlook for the earth. And it's thanks to so many years immersed in what we believed to be the absolute reality, and which ended up being an illusion created by those seeking to control humanity, that humanity seemed to have adapted to the idea that the way things were was the only possible and correct way, completely forgetting the illusion of a society more in line with the principles that govern our souls since creation. For what we see from our presumed normalcy is nothing more than a state of imbalance into which humanity plunged with the help of the influence of a few, where they made the vast majority of souls forget that spiritual path and power that resides within us. By leaving these things forgotten, we plunge deeper and deeper into those superficial aspects of life that were managed by this small group of people, and which they themselves arranged in a way that would support their beliefs and ideas, which they themselves do not follow, as they are actually just mechanisms to keep humanity limited and prevent this leap in consciousness. And if you wonder what the reasons are for them to do this, there is no need to go very far or deep. It is simply a matter of control and benefit of individuals over the benefit or well-being of humanity. These individuals have taken their interests and put them above the collective welfare, creating an imbalance across the entire earth, one that manifests in every negative aspect seen from it. However, just as with the law of cause and effect, or karma as it is commonly known, all this energy that they ended up sending out into the universe comes back to them with even greater force, seeing how at this moment everything they have built on lies and manipulations begins to collapse. This is possibly the worst-case scenario for this group of individuals, and one that is gaining more and more momentum, as what we see only foretells the defeat of that manipulation and those forces and tactics they have applied to prevent us from making that leap in consciousness. Indeed, a leap in consciousness by humanity will necessarily imply that those forces and energies they have relied upon will increasingly lose strength, and that once in that fifth dimension, they will ultimately have no place, ending their opportunities to benefit from humanity and have control over it. The way of life in this fifth dimension seems like a love story to many, as it invites us to envision a space where there are no levels, social classes, or positions of power of a few over others, but rather, these will collapse to establish more egalitarian systems and structures where everyone has the same opportunities and benefits. This is quite different from what we see today, but as if it were a profound remodeling of humanity, all structures and buildings made under these premises and in pursuit of the interests of a few will eventually be demolished, And in a way that many will not understand, the collapse of aspects like global politics and economy will loom over us. However, this does not necessarily represent harm to us as individuals, because we cannot overlook that the power and the capacity to have it all reside within us, and there are no external factors that can influence our well-being and balance in any way. Only what we have within ourselves can truly determine a state of scarcity or abundance where everything is covered. Furthermore, as these political and economic structures crumble, the accompanying ideas will also lose validity, so the way individuals will conduct themselves in the midst of this time is completely different from what is known, being labelled by many as deranged or ignorant, but only until the moment of enlightenment reaches all souls and they begin to act in a more harmonious and fluid way with the universe. This is a time of strong controversies, in which we will see how some dare to break normality, pushing the boundaries of collective thought a little further than what is known. And although for a moment it may seem that humanity is divided, it will only be a manifestation of the resistance that this collective consciousness and the beings that compose it present in the face of moments of change. For nobody is it easy to make the determination to step out of our comfort zone, much less when it comes to exploring the confines of thought and the energies of the universe, venturing into outcomes that we cannot yet predict. But even though it's difficult, it's a completely necessary part of our journey, so we must accept it and fill ourselves with faith to continue. This time will also require souls to enter a period of self-discovery and exploration of the parts and powers that compose us, so we will see how some go through periods of isolation, after which they reintegrate into society with greater light, wisdom and discernment, expanding this work they have done on themselves to the other souls inhabiting the earth. It's impossible to think that this change will happen all at once, and that overnight all souls will become balanced and in tune with the universe. This will be a gradual process, in which those who dare to immerse themselves in the waters of knowledge first will face the incredulous looks of the rest of humanity, looks that, no matter how physical their vision may be, will end up being blind until the moment of enlightenment. Here again, it is necessary to remember how our process will shed light on those who still do not awaken, and will make the transition from our current level of consciousness to one aligned with high vibrational frequencies much smoother and also friendly to us and to the earth. There are no doubts about the way everything is perfectly connected and aligned, and has as its goal the evolution of human beings, because something many forget is that we were born to live in well-being, and for absolutely all our needs to be met. That is why we cannot overlook this moment of enlightenment, as it is truly leading us with love and strength to that destination where we can finally receive everything that is prepared for us, both collectively and individually. Another of the major topics when talking about this fifth dimension, and which ends up causing this small group of people to reject it, is the fact that in this dimension, all souls will have the opportunity to materialize their deepest dreams and desires, which implies that these theories of scarcity and submission to external work will be ended. It is because of this that attempts are made to hide this knowledge, and in the face of its dissemination, attempts are made to implant ideas that discredit the wonderful truth that has been hidden from humanity for so long. During this time, it will be normal for many forgotten knowledge to come to light, as well as many conspiracy theories that for many will not exceed madness, but which actually have their basis in facts that have been hidden for years and that now come to light and reap the rewards for what they have implanted on the earth. Many great figures from history and prominent figures in society will be linked to strong scandals, and the images they have projected to the world will ultimately collapse, causing people to begin doubting what each person around them really is, what drives them, and what they seek on this plane. Many idols of these new times may be heavily compromised by actions carried out in the shadows that end up coming to light, and this will impose great tension and distress on those who have not developed their being and confidence in themselves. The topic of energies, aura, and vibrations of people begins to take on great importance amid the great confusion that precedes that moment of elevation. And although this process implies that we will emerge strengthened in the face of true knowledge, confusion, and a strong clash between what we know and what is customary in this supposed normality will first exist, and the truth that comes from the fall of deception and manipulation. These are confusing and overwhelming times for people who find themselves in the midst of this energetic confrontation, facing the darkest parts of themselves and the illusions that have been presented to them in reality. The strength of our true selves aligns with the perfect way everything is revealed, making us look inward to find an anchor amid the strong, energetic waves that hit us. We ourselves will be responsible for keeping ourselves on our feet, and only our soul can help us amid the great confusion and series of events that we will see manifesting in our reality and on the earth in general, because there will be no shortage of events that will occur more and more regularly amid our earthly plane. International conflicts will intensify to the point where we cannot overlook what is really happening far beyond mere coincidences, because suddenly everything will seem to descend into complete chaos. However, it is only the way in which everything that the earth has stored energetically in its depths will emerge to the surface. Past actions that have ended up marking the destiny of humanity will once again be brought up, but this time for the purpose of restoring balance through the purification of the earth and the loss of power that had been acquired as a result of those manipulations and deceptions. This new era calls us to leave behind all aspects of the reality we've been living in and dare to visualize and experience that new landscape of opportunity, evolution, and growth that this shift in consciousness brings us. Only by letting go of our attachment to ideas we once held as correct, now to be questioned, can we move harmoniously towards our ultimate destination. But before that, the collective awakening offers us the opportunity to recognize our creative ability, through which we will notice that everything in our lives is subject to change. Even those things we once thought could only be improved through miracles are within our control. Thanks to this realization, we can empower ourselves and break the limits imposed by the physical realm, ensuring that the energy circulating on Earth is modified for the benefit of humanity and ourselves. Another significant aspect we must confront amid this turbulence caused by our profound transition is the deconstruction of our value systems to open ourselves to ideas of compassion, love, and understanding among souls. Despite being advocated for, these values often have little prominence within the social dynamics we know. However, due to their unassailable nature, this process will compel us to truly embody the values we profess, which are the foundation of human beings since their creation. Those who do not commit to their internal work will be left behind in the midst of this migration. No one can access this new dimension without first undergoing this inner change, through which the vibrations of their being will definitively change, allowing them to harmonize and find balance with the universe and the new space we are about to inhabit. Yet this may become somewhat more challenging in this era, as the energies that shape planet Earth will continue to be in motion and reform, making this journey somewhat more turbulent, as even the place we live in will undergo significant changes. This is compounded by factors such as frequent natural events that will shake the world, seeking to do more than just cleanse the earth, but to eradicate all structures, edifices, and systems that have been created under selfish premises and do not flow with the energy of the earth and nature. Nature will also play a leading role during this time, as events like earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, and many others will occur. People may consider this the final hour where we will all perish, but in reality, these events align perfectly with a great reward for humanity. Although it may sound confusing or hard to believe, thanks to the progress that humanity has been experiencing and continues to promote, the Earth is now from its core organizing everything in a perfect manner, so that in this new era facing the souls inhabiting it, they can have everything and enjoy a cleaner, balanced, and energetically suitable environment for them. At this point, some may have doubts about this process, as in the past we talked about a migration, and now there is talk of organizing the space we live in for the better. Both things will happen simultaneously, as they are part of the same process and align quantumly in a perfect way. What happens is that the fifth dimension is not a new planet or a new space, but it is the same space we have and know, but taken to another dimension, one that is higher in terms of its vibrational frequency. Just as if we were a snail dragging its house wherever it goes, likewise the elevation of our consciousness leads us to bring planet Earth to that elevated dimension, maintaining the same physical space, but cleaning and aligning it with the new values and principles that will prevail here. And as is well known, any change at the energetic level and any evolution at the level of consciousness necessarily lead to changes on the outside, in that tangible reality we live in every day. That's why the abrupt shaking of the world represents a precious gift, as it is only a necessary step and a strong omen that change is coming, that we are achieving a better place to live, and that we are finally overcoming all the obstacles that we had as humanity and personally. And as they always say, the night is a little darker just before dawn, and that is precisely what we will see on Earth, because for some, this stage will be one of the darkest, confusing, and frightening that we can experience. But the truth is that we are only preparing for the arrival of that new world, to that forbidden land, in which we will live in harmony with our desires. Personal and international conflicts will cease to exist definitively, as the precepts under which we will align ourselves will be completely different, and everyone will seek the well-being of the community, ensuring their needs and maintenance, because with only that, the well-being of each one of us will be covered. Imagining a conflict-free Earth is something impossible in many minds today, but hope lies in that collective awakening that will make many end up opening their minds and accepting the true way in which we were created, also accepting that perfect and harmonious civilization that we were created to conform to. This is an overwhelming time, full of chaos, a chaos that we are already beginning to see taking shape, but that at the same time invites us to understand and flow with the universe, with creation, and with those divine energies that are always present. For some, this will be much more difficult than for others, as it will put great pressure on them to release all toxins and contaminants from within and allow beauty and the unique and perfect form under which we were created as humanity and as individuals to emerge from us. This time also invites us to think deeply about our role within the collective, as we will feel, even without having awakened, as if many people depend on us. Far from being random, this feeling confirms the influence of our soul over us and how it is capable of handling information beyond our conscious side. Part of the preparation that is pertinent for this stage is marked by listening to that inner voice, which is constantly whispering words of encouragement to us and guiding us with love amidst this chaos. Another very important point that could help all souls to cope with this moment is marked by the confidence that we must instill in ourselves and in our abilities, which can easily lead us successfully through this transition. We must not fail to see ourselves as the magnificent and capable beings that we are, because doing so will obligatorily fill our being with an extra energy and drive, which will not only impact us, but also the rest of humanity. It is also essential that we trust in the process and in the way the universe is uniquely and perfectly orchestrating everything on our planet, and also for us, because this is only an era that will bring thousands of wonders to us, although initially and superficially it may seem like a dark period. Remember that nothing is as it seems in these times. And although it may seem like we are receiving a harsh punishment for the way humanity has been walking, it is actually a unique and precious moment that serves as a reward for profound evolution. We were designed to evolve and change constantly, and this is precisely what we are doing, even without realizing it. We never stop advancing and moving our planet forward with us, and very soon we will be at the top of a new step in our history. That's why we should always seek to grow in knowledge and consciousness, and that's exactly what we want to do through this shared space. I would like you to invite all those beloved people to you, so that together we can spread this good news around the world. And don't hesitate to scroll through the comments and tell us what else you have noticed during recent times that you feel aligns with this moment of transformation. It would also be valuable if you leave a like on this video, and please don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications so you can tune in with me and all the souls that gather in this space. For now, it's time for us to enjoy that moment of reflection in solitude, but soon we will come together again to continue growing and strengthening in knowledge. Until then, I send you lots of light and blessings. you.